What's going on, everyone? Today we have the 5060 Ti. It's the 16 gigabyte version. It's the WindForce model by Gigabyte. And we're going to be jumping into Hell Is Us, and we're going to be looking at all the different settings, seeing how you can get this title to run at a really nice frame rate and still look good at 1440p. Now we're going to be pairing it with the 14600K and 32 gigs of RAM. If you're new here, I'd like to invite you to subscribe. If you're not, welcome back, and let's jump into the game. All right, what's going on, everyone? We are in Hell Is Us today at 1440p. We're going to be checking this title out with the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, and we're going to pair it with the 14600K and 32 gigs of RAM. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's jump in. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're not, welcome back. 96 FPS here, 99 FPS. This is just the very beginning opening of the game. I literally just downloaded it. So yeah, we're at 104 FPS here with the low preset, all natural pixels, no upscaling, no frame generation. Let's jump into medium, see what that does for us. All right, so medium, let's come over here and let's check it out. 83, it runs pretty well up there at the top, so I might just stay down here because it seems to be a little bit more realistic down here. At the very beginning, you're kind of in an isolated, kind of like mountain camp area or whatever, so we're just going to come over here. I've been down there. That's a story thing, so I'm not going to jump down there yet. But, yeah, we're over here at 79 FPS. This game looks really cool. I'm really excited to play more of it. But this is just like a initial look on the 5060 Ti. It's been a very popular card, and 1440p seems to be a very popular resolution. So here we are. All right, so let's jump over here and go into high. So we're at high preset here, no upscaling, no frame generation. That gives us right at 60, not quite. Oh, there it is, there's 60. I want to stress in this title, though, this is not something I necessarily think you should have to have 60 or bust. I mean, there's a really good reason that you know, consoles target like 30 FPS. It's a playable experience. Now 30 FPS is not something we're going to aim for here. Of course, we're going to try to keep it above like 45 or 50. I think that would be a pretty good, you know, setting expectations, FPS to go for on this before you turn on some frame generation. We've got the monitor up there in the top right. That's going to check out our latency once we get to that point. I'm leaving it up there now just because it's kind of a pain to get to work, and now that I have it working, I don't want to turn it off. All right, so 55, 57 FPS here. Let's jump over here, kind of see where this falls apart at. I think very high is probably going to be where, yeah, we're going to need some DLSS. We're at 32 FPS here. This really gets intensive at very high, and Ultra is even worse. Ultra is like really tough. All right, but DLSS might be able to, you know, come in here and get us a playable experience with some nice visual quality. All right, so we are at 32 FPS and 36. All right, let's just come over here. We're going to have to kick on that DLSS. Come down here and check out what quality looks like. All right, so quality DLSS. Let's go back to settings, make sure that applied. Yeah, we don't need to apply it. Okay, so quality DLSS gives us not that big of a lift, honestly. 34 FPS. This is not really ideal. I mean, I was hoping for way more than that. But, yeah, we're at 8.7 gigs of allocation, so you're already over 8 on your allocation. You're under 8 on your used, though. This is the 16 gigabyte card. The only reason I mention that is because there is an 8 gigabyte card version of the 5060 Ti that does exist. So I like to call that out, you know, get the 16. All right, so let's see, 34 FPS. Let's see what the very next, I'm just trying to see what very high can do. Because right now we're going to need some DLSS. I don't want to go up to Ultra yet. All right, so 40 to 38. So it looks like every level of DLSS is giving us on average about 5 or 6 FPS. Unfortunately, it's just like not doing that much. The visual quality looks okay, but you know, I was hoping for a little bit bigger jump. All right, so let's just see what performance does, I guess. I don't love going to performance when you're at 1440, but you know, if it calls for it, you sometimes just gotta suck it up and do it. All right, so performance. Let's see what that does. Okay, 50 FPS. So 50 FPS here looks like we are back in the game, at least. We're closer to 60, but 50 feels pretty good on this title. All right, so before I jump up to Ultra, I will say that I'm probably going to hopefully not crash because Ultra is going to be quite intensive. Expecting it to be quite rough. All right, so let's go down here, go up to DLAA, resume, and we are at a whopping 20 FPS, 18. So we're in the teens, folks. That's not good. Definitely not playable, but hey, we're not crashing. That's a good sign, right? All right, so you're definitely going to have to jump to performance, maybe even ultra performance, to get this to, behave like a proper game. All right, so let's come down here. Let's see, where'd it go? There we go. All right, so go to quality. Check out quality. Not expecting miracles here, but we're over 30. Yeah, just not really doable on Ultra without some frame generation and a lot of DLSS. So let's come down here and go to balanced. Balanced gives us about 40 FPS. Now, I could probably stand playing it like this with some frame gen. To be honest, you don't need it to run at 60. It plays fine. It feels good. It's not a shooter. It's not a competitive title. It's just a story-based adventure style game. So I think you might be able to play it like this. Everyone's taste is different. I just like to say I'm not someone who absolutely has got to have 60 FPS all the time, no matter what, in a game like this. On a card like this, even. I mean, if this was like a 5080, I'd be pretty pissed off. But yeah, I mean, you're not spending $1,000 on a GPU here. All right, so let's come down here and go to the very next setting before we jump over to the frame generation portion. All right, so let's resume. That gives us a nice 50 FPS experience, 45. This is about right. This feels pretty nice. Your PCL is a bit high. It's at 87, but on a controller, you honestly don't feel it. I can't really tell. So if you're on a controller, I think this would be okay too. All right, so let's jump over and do some frame gen. All right, I'm back after a restart. Let's just go through here and make sure we're all good. All right, so preset is high. We are still on DLAA. I know we're on quality with 2x frame generation. So 2x frame gen looks like 87 FPS here. PCL is nice. It's right at 58, 53. This is right where you want it to be. This is a good setting. I like this setting right here. You are using a little bit of your VRAM. You're allocating about 8. So if you were on the 8 gig version, this would probably be doable too. Might not be an exact 1-to-1, but it is the exact card. It's just lower VRAM. All right, so the 75, 74 FPS here, looking really good though. I mean, I think we're going to be okay. Let's come over here and go to that very high preset. I'm going to leave it all on quality for this test. There's just no reason to go any lower. All right, so right now we are at 52, 54 FPS, and that looks like we are at 75 milliseconds on our post-compute latency up there, that PCL. Now, does it feel good? It feels really good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this at all, in my opinion. I think that you get a nice visual experience with, frame generation is kind of a funny thing. Visually, it smooths it out, and it's almost, in my mind, like a replacement for the old school, like, motion blur effect that kind of tried to, like, hide skipped frames. This is just like a better way to do that. Yeah, you don't get the reaction time, but in a game like this, where reaction time isn't super important, you can get a nice looking game that runs really, really well. I mean, we're at 67 FPS here, and we're on, a mid-range card at 1440. This is kind of the entry level to the 1440, I guess, so it's a good card to test out. But yeah, we're looking like 58 FPS here. Now, if I jump up to Ultra, we're going to check out what that does. All right, so probably going to have to go down on our DLSS, although 50 FPS ain't that bad. I mean, You could go up to balanced and probably be okay, or you could just add more frames. You could just do more frame generation. Let's do that because I want to check out our PCL up there, and let's turn on the boost just because. Will it even let me? Let's see. Boost is okay. It's automatically on, so the NVIDIA latency thing is automatically turned on. All right, so looks like we can go up to, let's just try 4x here. See what that does. That gives us 86 FPS, 82 FPS. Now, let's go over here, check out what we got. So Ultra with quality DLSS with 4x frame gen. So this would be the most realistic way, in my opinion, to get Ultra, would be to use that little bit of DLSS and turn on frame generation, and that gives you about 78 FPS here, and your post-compute latency is about 100 milliseconds. I mean, I'm on a controller. I can tell just a tiny bit, but like only with the camera, and it really does not like break the game. I could definitely like mentally adjust to it, you know, because it's minuscule. I mean, the human brain can't really tell that much of a difference. Now, if this was something that I needed to like compete with, I wouldn't want to play it like this. It's not a shooter, but yeah, you can come down here and even turn on, let's see, come down here. If you just wanted to really keep that latency down, go to performance with 2x, and that's going to give you 72 FPS, and it's going to drop your post-compute latency back down into the 50s. So instead of around 100, I'm trying to get on like a dark spot so you can read those numbers there. So 47 milliseconds, 2x frame gen with performance. You could even maybe go up to balanced. Let's check out what balanced looks like, because might have went too hard on it. You might be able to do balanced. Let's go balanced. Now it's going to drop our frames. It's going to raise our latency. Latency is around 64. So, you know, it's just kind of like preference. I could personally play it like this. You're right at 60, ultra, and your latency ain't too bad. Again, I'm on a controller, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. This game really does play well on a pair of sticks, though. So I'm just on a DualShock right now, and it does support the DualShock glyphs, which is nice to see. I wish more games did that. All right, so with that said, how would I play this? I would probably jump down to very high. I would probably run it on quality with a 4x frame gen, and this is probably how I would do it. I mean, your latency is around 80 or so milliseconds. I might introduce a little bit more DLSS here just to get that latency down, but I think that this would be how I would more than likely play it. It gives you about 100 FPS. Visually speaking, still looks nice and sharp. And ultra and very high, you know, I mean, ultra is pretty ultra. I mean, it's there, you know. Let's go to balanced and see if that helps out the PCL a little bit. Should go down a hair. Yeah, 74, 65. Okay, so yeah, maybe this is probably how I would run it. You've got over 100 FPS, looks remarkably good, and your latency is not out of control with that 4x frame gen. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely play this game if you use all of the you know, tools in your arsenal. And with that said, I think we're going to wrap this up. This has been a, you know, kind of a quick look, but if you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing. And with that said, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.